We explain the rise of the Phoenicians. Along the coast of the Mesopotamian Mediterranean, there lived a disunified group of people known collectively as the Canaanites. There doesn't seem to be any unifying common culture between them, and they tended to live in their own independent city-states. These city-states had names like Tyre, Sidon, and Byblos, each with their own major production centers. Tyre was well known for its production of purple dye, which was used in royal cloth all the way down through the Roman Empire. Byblos produced papyrus used in bookmaking and documents. The production of this paper became the root of the name Bible, bibliography, and bibliothèque, just to name a few. The Canaanites were an urban people who'd abandoned farm-based economies in the Bronze Age to make their fortunes through trade in city markets. Later, the Greeks would name this region Phoenicia, which most likely translates into purple people due to the stained hands of the workers in Tyre making the dye. The Greeks would also more than likely base their entire culture on the Canaanite culture. From the sailing and shipbuilding skills that had taken the Phoenicians from England to establish North African colonies at Carthage, and also to their pantheon of polytheistic gods that the Greeks would adapt into their own. For example, the Canaanite god Baal would become Zeus and Yam would become Poseidon, and their never-ending fight would explain the seasons and the droughts. Most importantly, the Greeks and the world would borrow the Canaanite alphabet. At some point in their history, the Canaanites had developed an alphabet that was a series of symbols that represented sounds made in all known human languages. For instance, the symbol Aleph, or bowl, represented the sound A. Beth, or house, represented B. In this way, they could record and translate the variety of languages being used in their trading ports from around the known world. The Greeks would then borrow their letters, as would the later Romans. This contribution became extremely important for current-day scholars to understand life in Bronze Age Mesopotamia, especially as Neo-Assyrian kings like Ashurbanipal had ordered the universal language of their empire, Aramaic, to be written in a similar alphabet and read right to left. This Phoenician alphabet, tied with Aramaic language, would be translatable against Greek and later Latin texts, giving us access to the past and replacing cuneiform script. It would also make it possible to translate cuneiform, which came in handy when the thousands of tablets collected by Ashurbanipal for his library at Nineveh were unearthed from the location of the destruction. The library had been set on fire by an attack from a Babylonian coalition set on destroying Assyria. The Canaanite city-states survived constantly changing Mesopotamian empires by being good trading partners. The Phoenician people made themselves invaluable by putting themselves in the middle of a regional trade. At one point, the city-states were under the control of Sargon and his Akkadians, the Babylonians, the Hittites, the Assyrians, and then even the Egyptians, who helped make the region rich from the trade of papyrus and manufactured goods. They're even referenced in Judeo-Christian texts. Eventually, the city-states would be conquered by Alexander the Great.